Okay, for number 5, the limit law does not apply to this. And the reason for that, although the top and bottom are both polynomials, the limit of the bottom is 0. So I got troubles. And my troubles is just to factor it. I want to kind of remind you, it looks like a difference of perfect cubes. And just to remind you, a cubed minus b cubed is going to be a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. I'm going to write that down. And again, the first thing to write down is limit. X goes to 0. This may or may not help. My suspicion is going to help substantially because they're right problems that work nicely. The bottom is just x. What do you get on top? Well, a minus b. So it's going to be 2 plus 3x. Let me point out what the a is in the problem. The a is 2 plus 3x. The b in the problem is actually 2 because 2 cubed is 8. So it's going to be 2 plus 3x, let's see, minus 2, right? Times, it's going to be the a squared. I'll just write that down. It's going to be 2 plus 3x. That's squared. Then you can get ab. What's that going to be? 2 plus 3x. That's pretty reasonable. And then plus b squared. What's b squared? It's 4. All right? Let me get my eraser out. I kind of done, this, I'm going to say baby work. It really is something you've done in Math 100. And I got to look at it. Does that help me? And it does. And the number one reason it helps me, I see a cancellation. For example, this here and this here have a factor in common. And the reason for that 2 plus 3x minus 2 is just 3x. And 3x divided by x is just 3. So let me rewrite the limit now. It's going to be equal to a limit. That's going to be x goes to 0. We get 3. Now someone says, what allows the x to cancel off? X is not 0, so I can just cancel it off. Then we left off with, let's write this down, 2 plus 3x squared plus 2 times 2 plus 3x plus 4. Now someone says, could you multiply that out? You could, but I'm just going to say, you know what, the limit laws apply now. I can just plug the number in. What do you get? 3. And if x is 0, you'd get 2 squared, which is 4. Again, if x is 0, what are you going to get? 2 times 2, which is 4, and 4 in the end. What does this give you? Well, 3 times 12, because 4 plus 4 plus 4 is 12, and 3 times 12 is 36, right? That's certainly one way of doing it. Someone says, I don't want to do it that way. There's other ways of doing it, but the bottom line is going to be 36. The other way of doing it is to expand it, and I'm going to go through that with you now. So you could have also expanded it. The problem with expansions, I'll be honest with you, is it takes work. All right, so you could expand it, and expanding a cube, what are you going to get? Well, you're going to get, let's write this down. I'm using the Pascal's triangle, by the way. Maybe I should remind you what that looks like. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3, 3, 1. I'm going to expand it now, and I'm using the row 1, 3, 3, 1. So it's going to be 1 times 2 cubed plus 3 times 2 squared times 3x plus 3 times 2 times 3x squared. You learned the binomial theorem in Math 120, by the way. And you keep going. What's the next one going to be? 1 times, I'll write that down, 3x to the third power. What did I just do? This part over here, and then minus 8. What do you get on bottom? You get x. Now granted, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to do, but you got more work to do. I still don't see any cancellations in the problem. So what are you going to do? Write it down. Limit. X goes to 0. And what I notice over here, I notice that this thing and this thing now disappears. Whoops, I forgot to put the x in the bottom. So now I can kind of divide through. And let's go for it. What do you get? Let's write it down. You get 3 times 2 squared times 3. What am I doing? I'm dividing through by x. What's next going to be? It's more difficult, but I can write it down. 3 times 2 times 3 squared. And now it's going to be x squared, but I'm dividing by x. It's going to be x. Then what do you get? Last but not least, you get 3 cubed. You get x cubed divided by x, which is x squared. Right? What do you do now? Limit laws apply. I can just plug the number in. What's the number? 0, which makes it pretty easy to do. What are you left off with? 3 times 2 squared times 3. Second term goes to 0. Third term goes to 0 using the limit laws. What do you get? 9 times 4, which is 36. Whatever technique works for you. I really mean that, whatever technique. I would not want to go to tables, and I would not want to go to a graph for this problem. Thank you.